Welcome back to another episode of Jacksonville Buzz's Buzz on Veterans. I'm Steve Strum with Colonel Chris Budahas, having an opportunity to sit here and talk to a gentleman, Nate Scott, who is a life coach, wrote books, but I'm going to start off with an amazing story that you shared about the meaning of life to you during Desert Storm.
Absolutely.
First, gents, thank you both for your service to our great country.
Thanks,
Growing up in the Army, I know that it ain't free, so we can do what we do. So thank you both, everything. Let's segue right into that, because you had a defining moment in your life at 19 that has led you to where you are today.
Yeah.
And it's such a cool story. We want to make sure we cover that in our show today.
Well, Steve, first and foremost, thank you guys for having me on. I'm really excited to be able to bring this segment, if you will, because the veterans, we're out here, we're making a difference, and I think that this is part of it. For me, I made a decision to enlist in the Army, and when I did so, I immediately continued to play sports, enrolled in college courses. Through that activity, one of my professors, her husband was a West Pointer. She knew my company commander, and they approached me about the idea of going to West Point. Around that same time, I got a knock on the door from my first sergeant with the notification that we were going to be deployed to serve in Operation Desert Shield. Well, at 19, I find myself in Desert Storm, walking the perimeter during the darkness of night. And in that moment, I said, Lord, if you allow me to make it back, I'll never waste a day of my life. That defined everything moving forward for me. So since 19, that was my compass. And that leads to what I am today and what my company is and what my message is, which is life is rich, which means I live in fullness every day.
So life.
Life.
Live in fullness every day. Just want to make sure. So it's not just life, it's an acronym that also is about life.
That's
Please
right.
continue, sir.
Because I realize I'm Christ's heir. So life is rich. This is my company, Life is Rich Global, means I live in fullness every day because I realize I am Christ's heir. And that's the mindset that I bring. That's the focus that I have. It's not a religion. What it is about a belief, the undercurrent that sets everything in motion for me.
That is powerful, man.
Yeah.
All right, Colonel Chris, I know that's going to
Well,
like
it's a long journey. So what are we kind of scoping into? So how do we get to the book? So you went from this journey in uniform, out of uniform. You did a lot of things in between, and then you wrote a couple of books. To me, it sounds like you're trying to give back and you're giving that advice. Life's a long look, so how are you investing in your future? So when you get to our age, being Desert Storm vet myself, you're in a good position to have flexibility in your life to make decisions, financially that are appropriate to you and your family.
I started thinking about financial independence as a 10th grader in high school.
Wow.
And I boiled it
last week.
down. And I boiled it down to two areas, business and real estate.
Yeah.
And so when I enlisted in the Army, I knew the importance of putting things in order. I started reading, and consequently that led me into developing a certain mindset. And so I went on to West Point after serving in Desert Storm.
Yeah.
And the week I graduated from West Point, I got introduced to the world of personal growth and development and entrepreneurship. And that forever changed my life.
Yeah.
As I speak around the world, I tell people, take one my West Point degree, take one my MBA from George Washington, financial planning from Georgetown.
Yeah.
When I learned to pick up books and go to seminars and be around successful people, that's what laid the foundation for everything else I've done in my life.
Yeah.
As I left the military, we had that period of time called terminal leave.
Yeah.
In that window of time, I knew that if I didn't take action right then I wouldn't have a history of income, which was going to be needed in order to buy real estate.
Yeah.
And so I had a window of time. I just read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and also Cash Flow Quadrant. And from that reading, I took away a couple of concepts. Nothing complicated, but something that was life-changing. And one of those things was about where the flow of money comes from, either as an employee, self-employed, business owner, or investor, as well as how money flows. Income to expenses out the window represents the poor flow of money. Income, liability, expenses out the window for the middle class. But the life-changing one was income to asset. To create income, to go asset, income, asset. And through that, pulling that simple concept away, I went forward and did some things financially that allowed me to be in a position to eventually do what I really want to do, which was be that dad that was around.
Yeah.
Which is what brought me to Jacksonville, Florida, sight unseen, is that I got here to get near Savannah, which is home, and I wanted to be near the water. And the prompting was having my daughter. Having my daughter also put things in place for how I was going to pursue making an impact. When I had her, I said I would commit to sowing into the lives of women such that if anything ever happened to me, she'd have role models that I'd want her to follow.
Yeah.
So my business, a heavy portion of it is focused on women, primarily for that single reason, because of the gap that I see that women experience in the economy, as well as just the mindset that oftentimes if someone doesn't have a strong male role model with them, they can miss out on opportunities on how to navigate from an emotional standpoint. So emotional intelligence is really key.
That is just a phenomenal story, and wow. So by trade, you've had a lot of different things you've done in the world of entrepreneurship. You now serve others in a coaching and consulting role, which then also leads to these books. And I know we got a story about this one right here.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about what do you do professionally now to help other peoples and have that give back? Now that you're in a position, you know, the kids are getting older, right? We're all getting older. But now your daughter is getting out of high school.
She graduated. My son graduates in May.
Oh, that's fantastic. You know, congratulations on that. What are you doing professionally now to help give back to others?
I'm a business coach.
Sure.
That focuses on preparing growth-minded professionals, and a growth-minded person is someone that's willing to read a book, as an example, helping growth-minded professionals to prepare for life disruptions. A life disruption can be unemployment, market volatility, retirement, or divorce.
Right.
And I do that in helping people to avoid and prevent financial hardship. That came as a result of first me being a personal trainer. That was my first business.
Okay.
From there, I started teaching people how to apply the habits of physical fitness to their life. I then did my MBA at George Washington, started teaching people how to apply the habits of physical fitness to business. I then did financial planning at Georgetown, started teaching people how to apply the habits of physical fitness to personal finance. The process of what's the goal, do the assessment,
Right.
then make the plan, and then hold one accountable so we can actually execute, because execution is really where it's at. And so today, that's what I'm about, is helping people to navigate those disruptions. And that's one of the things falling back into combat experience. I excel at teaching people how to think versus what to think.
Yeah.
And it is, I guess, in that combat metaphor, it is so much better to deal with the mine or the grenade before it goes off. Then the pin got pulled, now what do we do?
Right.
So I know you have a special, we were talking offline, I know when we were prepping for the show, there's a special story around this book right here.
Yeah. Life is Rich was something that was birthed. I was at an event speaking, just on the side, having a conversation with someone, and actually there was a person that was running the event. And I said, man, you're doing a phenomenal job with how you've created a culture and the energy. I said, but what do you do when the emotional charge runs off? In other words, when people leave here, what's going to be the sticking point for them? And he kind of looked at me kind of perplexed, and I said a few things that in turn caused him to ask me to come to his organization's meeting on the Monday night and do a conference call with them. The response was so great that it led him to ask me to come back the next week.
That's great.
And as a result of those back-to-back, it gave me evidence that there was a market out there that needed to and wanted to hear the message in which I was delivering. And it really was a message that simply said that entrepreneurship must be the foundation of any wealth-building plan. And one of the things I wrote in the book there, I said that if you're reading this in 2013, the good news is that you've got at least 10 years to do something about your financial plan, meaning to be in a position to fund your plan. Unfortunately, though, most people will wait too long. Well, 2013 plus 10 is 2023. And so now we're here. We know what the economy looks like. We know the situation where people are losing jobs. And I hate seeing people stuck like they had a blast, but they don't know what to do. And that's why I'm really leaning in. Life is Rich is a principle-centered, biblically based leadership program focused on personal growth and entrepreneurship. Every chapter begins with scripture, but then I say, so what? How do you take God's word and apply it on a daily basis? I cover leadership is the answer. The cash flow danger. It happened to me. Become an entrepreneur. Choosing the right entity. Raising capital. Asset protection. Protecting your financial privacy. Reducing your taxes. Retirement planning. Residual income retirement planning. Estate planning. And Life is Rich. But it's about how to think versus what to think. Because that's what I do with my soldiers.
Well, you know, and I think that probably the thing, if we think about this, taking it out, whether it's command in the battlefield, whether it's command in your personal business, you sound like you are, correct me if I'm wrong, a first in many ways in your family. You are the first person to have a level of success, the first person to be an entrepreneur. I understand this. My mother was from Croatia. They immigrated here because of ethnic cleansing. I am the first in my family. My father was a firefighter. My brother's in the Army, right? I'm the first person to go into that step of entrepreneurial. I think the thing that I hear when you're talking to me, I know we're talking to them, but when we're talking right here, it's like, hey, I'm not alone. Right, I've dealt with cash flow issues. I've dealt with, 2020 is in the stock market universe. It was a little weird year, right?
Yeah.
We've dealt with a lot of these things, and I think the message that I hear that we're hopefully communicating to our audience is, you're not alone. There's a plan.
Yep.
There is a level of divinity in the plan, but it's not about doing the Bible thump.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
And the fifth piece of that, there's people out there that are willing to help coach you and bring you along.
That's right. There's
you
a
don't have to do it by yourself.
That's right.
I tell them to follow me is the infantry call.
There you go.
That's really the big thing. I'm saying, hey, listen.
Yeah.
But you got to be willing to invest in yourself. The main things is me saying that, number one, you are the asset. You are the asset. It's not out. It's not external. It's actually in you. It's buried within you.
Yeah.
The next thing is alignment before assignment. Alignment before assignment. Third is how to think versus what to think.
Right.
Those three things, if one would just keep it on the tips of their tongue and just speak those, will be empowering. And then you echo that with, I live in fullness every day because I realize I'm Christ's heir. Well, if you realize that, then that means you already understand that it's already set aside for you. No good parent's going to release the keys to the car unless you can drive. So that means the only thing you're left to do is grow your capacity.
Yeah.
So my message is what I'm saying, just commit to growth.
It's
Having a
amazing.
growth mindset.
Right.
What a powerful message.
Wow. Thank you.
Chris, what do you got, man? I mean,
I'm good.
I think it is all on the table
I'm
right
fired
now.
up,
I mean,
yeah.
God, I just
Cool.
doing
Yeah.
stuff. In all sincerity,
That's awesome.
super awesome to have you on the show. Your message is astounding. We're going to put your links and we're going to put your books and all the stuff on our website on Daily News Network. They can go and click and push and buttons and connect with you about coaching, about the book, about your life story. I mean, there's so much stuff we could talk about. We can have you back on about, like, hey, let's talk about what happened 20 years ago when you first got here. And to commend you about being the father that's there.
Thank you.
Sir,
Yeah.
thank you for your service, Colonel
Yes,
Chris,
sir.
as
Thank you.
always.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Guys, thanks
Appreciate
so
it.
much for joining us on the Buzz on Veterans. If you like us, share us. Remember, live with gratitude.
Operation Barnabas is a veterans ministry, started in 2017 with the purpose of helping our veterans that kind of got left behind, and they've struggled with addictions, PTSD, suicidal thoughts, those kind of things, helping them get whole again through one-to-one mentorship.
Being able to communicate with them and help them can drastically change their life, can drastically change a family's life. The little that we can do is put our hand out and say, hey, do you want a hand up?